What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the BlockHash channel. Today we're going to be doing some chart analysis looking at Stellar Lumens versus the US dollar, XLM, here in February of 2025, and what the outlook looks like going into the rest of this spring, over the next couple of months. Obviously, XLM is in this, I would say, beautiful bull flag that has formed ever since we broke out in November after the election. Obviously, we've had a bunch of pullbacks and liquidations take place, especially and namely the one on February 3rd, which scared a lot of people, but I think really gave us that final liquidation that we really needed. We've been able to form a really good floor here around 30 to 31 cents. And that bull flag extending from highs of around 63 to 64 cents, then down to 52 cents. Continuing on out all the way until about mid-April. We'll see if that ends up holding. We have a smaller bull flag here as well, starting back on January 16th, coming all the way to now, that should end around the 26th of February, so next week. So we're going to find out relatively quickly whether or not XLM is going to continue in one of these bull flag patterns, if it's going to break to the downside or break to the upside. There are three scenarios here that I see that are the most likely. Either we're going to chop around, break through this first bull flag, and we'll find our way through here through March, maybe into April, before we have a decisive break to the upside, which I can tell you guys is coming. We are very, very close. If that's not the case, the other scenario is that maybe we don't hold this bull flag and we break to the downside, we have some lower lows, and then maybe we end up setting a different type of funnel scenario where this might have to play out a lot longer and this flag comes a little bit deeper before we get that parabolic move to the upside. All right. At the same time, get even better with these charts, guys. Back. There we go. At the same time, we might also continue forward. There's a little bit of a funnel here going sideways, and we've generally stayed above it until we've gotten into February, and we seem to be down here in the funnel. So this could end up continuing on for a while, even break through our flag, and who knows, maybe we range sideways for a while, but I think that's the least likely scenario given the uptick in the market and where this is trying to head right now. Again, I think one of the biggest reasons we haven't broken out of this bull flag decisively to the upside and had a move in the same degree that we had in November, almost 560 something percent. Are we likely to see that again? What am I doing? Okay, hold on. Are we going to go another 500%? I really have no idea, guys, but some people are thinking we could. I'm just going to draw it for heck's sake. Let's say 500%. This is a little bit up there. I don't know if we're going to go clear that high. Maybe we will, but I think it's more likely that we're going to test. Let's see. Let's move out to the monthly chart. It gives a better view. I think we're more likely to go back and retest some of these areas that were previous highs. All right, so let's say we're here around 33 cents today. We go back up to 79 cents, which is where we peaked out in 2021. That's going to be a 136% move. That's 100% in the realm of possibility. I really believe that we're going to this target sell point closer to $1 at least, because this is closer to where our all-time high is for Stellar, which is, depending on which chart you look at, anywhere between the high 80 cent, low 90 cent range. So getting to $1, I don't think is too out of the picture right now. But I definitely think that we'll probably break above that, maybe as high as $1.20, maybe farther. It's just going to depend on the strength of these moves. Now, keep in mind, we've had like this entire move happen in the period of 1 or 2 candles, 2 months. In the past, we haven't really seen that happen since back in 2017, where we had those 2 months where XLM just exploded and went to 92 cents. In 2021, where it was a little bit more methodical, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green months in a wonderful altcoin season before getting a red candle. And the nice part about this so far, at least for XLM, is even though we've printed, I'm going to say 2.5 green candles, January hasn't been that wonderful. It just recovered a little bit of its drawback from December and from November. But this red candle is very, very thin. There's a very good chance we climb out of February and into March. We start to build a green candle back towards the 40 cent range. And by April, maybe that's when the big candle comes in. And that's what we'd be looking for as well. But these are ranges we need to get through. In a long-term scenario, it has been forming an interesting, almost flag-like pattern on a very long-term scale, kind of following along with XRP as well. And maybe it will continue to follow that same trajectory the XRP has been on. There's a couple of key things I want you guys to keep in mind as we keep an eye on the XLM chart is the estimated moving average. Obviously the easy way to look at an EMA is when you're above the 100 and 200, you're in a really good bull market. When you're below it, you're in a bear market. Generally, when you're above the 20 and 50, you're trending upwards. Below the 20 and 50, trending downwards. Thing to keep in mind with this bull flag is we've been below the 20 and the 50 since before we got into April, just barely. And then January, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Since we got into February, just back in January. Here in February, we've been below the 20 and the 50, but we've also come up after dropping just below the 100 EMA, and we hit it, and then we came back down. Something to keep in mind, we don't want that 100 EMA to be trending downwards. We're also getting scary close to the 200 EMA. So it tells us two things. One, we need to bounce off that 200 EMA if we were to break through this structure and come a bit lower. If we go below the 200 EMA, then we risk turning that into a ceiling, and then maybe this turns into a very bearish scenario. We don't want that to occur. If we are able to stay above it and better case get back above that 100 EMA, tap and move forward, we're looking at a pretty good scenario as well. Another thing to keep in mind is the Bollinger Bands. This is one of my all-time favorites. A really good idea, really good way to look at and analyze the chart when you're trying to figure out when things are going to break out upward. Right now, the moving average for the band, we are then below, bouncing off that to the downside slightly, and we need to get above that. If we can do something like this where we come up, and much like the 100-day, we bounce off that average and continue up, then it's just a matter of can we break out of it. Breaking out of a Bollinger Band can really signify a move to the upside or a move to the downside. Same thing if you were to bounce through this Bollinger Band down here. So those are key things to keep an eye on. Just like we did here, we popped out of it. It showed a very bullish move, came back down, hit the EMA and back up all in January. We just didn't have enough retail strength to pop through. We're getting a lot of institutional strength across the market. There's an XRP Bitwise ETF that is probably going to get approved sometime in the next 90 days, which is exciting because it'll also draw in a lot of push to XLM. There's also a lot of push for RWAs right now. Ondo and XRP kind of working together. A lot of RWA projects on XLM, including Franklin Templeton and a lot of other asset managers and funds getting involved. And generally, you're starting to see certain key chains really lead the market. Bitcoin has, kind of teetered out and has found a nice ground to settle and rest. And we're waiting for Bitcoin dominance to drop for altcoin season. And we've seen the meme coin craze kind of fall flat on its face with Solana, giving some leeway for investors to move the money back into Ethereum, which is a good catalyst if we're going to head towards an altcoin season. And leading that altcoin season, and at least some of the gains so far, we've seen great growth in XRP as well as XLM. If you look even today, 33.3%, almost 4% for XRP. ADA has done relatively well. HBAR has done really great. Those leading altcoins seem to be really, prepping themselves for some big run. We'll talk about XRP, ADA, HBAR a little bit more as we get into some further videos for February and talking about what that might look like for March and April. But those four really have been doing exceptionally well in terms of leading the altcoin market. XRP is probably held up the strongest. XLM has probably had the biggest moves percentage-wise and is forming a really nice bull flag. So again, time will tell, but we're very close. My price prediction for XLM, sometime between now, maybe the end of March or early April, we should be retesting this area. And then after we do that, it's just a matter of time before we find out if this is going to be a push up to former all-time highs and then it comes back down like it's done in 2017 and 2021, or if this altcoin season is going to be breaking point and XLM is going to go to much higher numbers. I really do think we will get to $1. The pathway might be a little murky, but we will look something like this, probably, is my guess. It won't last very long. We'll probably have a couple months of euphoria and excitement, diamond hands and laser eyes, and maybe Bitcoin pushes higher a little bit as well. But that's kind of what I'm expecting and what I think those of you should keep an eye out for. Again, this is not investment advice. This is all educational, just a way to understand the market, read the charts, and understand what the trends are. So let me know what you guys think about XLM and Stellar Lumens and what's going on in the market right now. And if you have any other thoughts and things that you're seeing, please let me know. Any altcoins you want me to cover as well as we get closer and closer to altcoin season, shoot me a line or drop a comment down in the video's comment section down below, and see you guys in the next video. Cheers.